Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Hope you enjoyed the rather different start to the stream today. This is the Jimmy Broadbent powered by oNiD British GT3 series. Round 2 at Snetterton, and it's Ben Brown with the lead comms, and joining me tonight is Mr. Sam Rowton. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm doing well, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's a bit cooler than last time we chatted live on stream, and
Yeah,
it looks like
it's nice.
we've reverted back to British weather tonight. So it
The way we
is
like it.
it's just the way we like it. It is raining. So the format for the races then, quite interestingly, is 45 minutes, and I think they got about 10 minutes worth of dry running at the start of the session.
Yeah.
And it's been raining ever since. So what do you think about the grid then? Do you think it's going to be a little bit mixed up because of that?
Yeah. No one else is going to improve. If I'm honest with you, I do think everyone else can see that as well. So it's going to start. It's going to be interesting though. There's new weird places like Steve Bain down 25th, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You'd expect him to be a lot higher. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting for the race, especially if it's going to be like this as well.
Yeah, I mean, practice for those, obviously that wasn't streamed, but practice started damp and then quite quickly dried up, and they got quite a bit of dry running at the end of the session for a good kind of 25-30 minutes. So there is the way that the server's been set up tonight as well was not a high risk of rain, relatively speaking, but apparently it being Snetterton, ACC has decided that it's going to be wet, so it kind of flipped round qualifying as well. So we're watching cars, but obviously they're not going to be going quicker. They're probably going to be probably across the whole lap 7-8 seconds slower, something like that. So currently then Zilzovic is on pole, Hilson second, Janssen third, Klaesinen fourth, and Browning fifth. I thought it would be worth just talking about last week's standings, because obviously we've had one round, and Jongen won last week, Sam, and Jongen's down in 10th.
Yeah. You know what? That just shows how interesting it's going to be tonight. I'm actually so excited for this. This rain, even though we may not have a lot to talk about for the next 14 minutes and 2 seconds, but it's still going to be great fun for the race. It's going to make it much more exciting.
Exactly, because I mean Hilson and Jongen were on the front row at Brands, had that contact, which was deemed a racing incident. Both of them just being a little bit eager going in, kind of met in the middle a little bit. Hilson then we knew was quick. He had a little bit of damage last week, and he still managed to kind of work his way back through with the issues and still managed to finish 9th. This week he's second with a Bentley, which should be pretty handy in the wet conditions. And Jongen, although he's still in the Bentley, he's back in 10th, so he's going to have some work to do on a track that notoriously can be a little bit difficult to overtake. But what do you think, if it's a dry race, if it's a wet race, which one would you prefer, sir?
Right, and that's all I'm saying. The wet is not my favourite. Let's just say.
I think it would be mixed up, but
yeah.
let's throw it in.
If you want to live life on the edge, then yeah, go for full wet. You know, absolutely thundering the whole lot. But it is a proper struggle, especially around this track as well.
Well, that's one thing worth mentioning. It's an hour race with a pit window in the middle of it, so there's one stop, but it's only for tyres, so they will have to take fuel for the whole race. So if it looks like it's going to be, if it's raining at the start, and it looks like it might be dry, they're going to have to overfuel because you're using more fuel in the dry conditions than you are the wet. And also, if it's going to be changeable, there's a bit of a risk there that you know, you may have to do 2 pit stops. If it's that bad and it is that changeable, you might have to do a pit stop outside of the pit window. We've seen that before on an oNiD race that we did at Brands, actually, ironically, another UK track. where there was a pit window and people were having to pit outside of the pit window that day. So these things can happen.
Yeah, I've done what the best scenario here for all of our entertainment is for it to go like dry, wet, just change constantly and just throw everyone off.
Well, Ziltovic is on pole. He's also second in the standings. He had a really solid race. I think he was surprised at. He was very happy, and I think he was very happy on the Discord after the race that he'd managed to finish second. That a track maybe that wasn't his strongest, and he's turned up, put an absolute monster lap in at the start. Then, so he's 4/10 out in front. So he's looking strong here to kind of retain or to take the lead. Janssen as well looking good though in third. He's third in the standings. And Kleinen's fourth on the grid, and he's also fourth in the standings. So a lot of the quick boys managed to get their laps in early. Do we want to talk about a few of the surprises towards the front? I can spot a few.
I spot someone in 7th place.
I don't think that's Johnny. I think someone's driving for him.
Yeah, yeah, easily. It is unheard of for him to be that far up. But...
Exactly. Well, he's
We're praising him though.
Yeah, he's obviously enjoying Snetterton. Also, big shout out to Zach Finney up in 11th place. Who's I know he worked his way up to 13th last week. But all up Fox, thank you so much for this subscription. First month subscribing, thank you very much. Hope you are enjoying the streams. We appreciate it. The others further forward, I'm just having a look down against the standings. We've also got Adam D up in 12th. He won't mind me saying that after the absolute shenanigans last week, where I don't think he had his best race of all time, he's up in 12th. It looks nicely mixed up, especially from the pace from last week. A few people further back, like we've mentioned, Youngin a little bit further back. We've got Andy Hearn back in 14th, and he's 5th in the standings. Ollie Knowles is 6th in the standings, and he's back in 15th as well. So there's plenty of chance for moving around here. Maybe that is the natural pace, or maybe it was a limiting factor that they only really got a few hot laps, because they've only really got, I think we were watching it, weren't we? There was what, 3-4 laps they got maybe.
Yeah, max. Do you know what though? It's going to be interesting because obviously we have this mixed up grid, because some people like myself will always perform better later on in the session once they've had a few laps to get a banker in, all that lot. But they didn't have the chance to do that. They had to go straight from the off. And I think we have seen the consequences of that a little bit, potentially some people pushing too much, some people not pushing enough. But yeah, as I've said already, it's just going to make the race 10 times more interesting for all of us to watch this evening.
Oh, definitely, and I think it'll be interesting to see who, if it's a dry race, if the trends continue from last week, or if it's a wet race, if we get a little bit mixed up and we get people all over the place. Which we've got cars all over the track. Yes.
Talk about cars all over the place.
I'm just going to pop into chat then, looking a bit further back. We've got a hiker in chat, the evening hiker, Vest. He's missing sweaty Snet. Well, it's not very sweaty today, but yeah. Daman Klomjo, thank you for the message. Wet all the way, add some spiciness. Yeah, well, I tend to agree with you there. And then all that Fob saying, hope not to crash this time. You'll be absolutely fine. Just nice and steady. And Sam in chat, Mercy Caller, thank you very much. How are these Bentleys so quick? The Bentley's not bad in the wet, I have to say. And Johnny's hijacking the oNiD Racing, saying love Snet. Well, Snetterton's my least favourite track on ACC. So
I think we need to put it out there. That is not the comments of oNiD. That is purely Johnny Ash.
That is Johnny Ashley. That is not the words. We do not condone what has been said on the Twitch chat. So we've got 7 minutes here. I think realistically people are just going around getting some practice in, maybe trying to refine a wet setup. As everything has crashed. Oh, that's wonderful. I think someone joined the server and messed it up. Some timing thing. Right. Well, you'll get a holding page for a minute while I just fix that. That was a bit of an aggressive end to that, but yeah. So what are they going to be doing right now, Sam? Because obviously they've had effectively half an hour of wet running, the first real wet running of the entire event, the first wet running of the season. Do you think they'll just be doing laps just to try and get used to it, just in case it rains, or are they just doing laps for the sake of doing laps?
Yeah, I don't know what. I was actually before the stream started, I was talking to Matt Wilmot, who's also racing tonight. He was telling me that a lot of drivers in voice chat were saying that they're just going to be doing laps to make sure their tire pressures are all right, just in case it does rain in the race, which is possibly a very sensible move to make, because they won't have that time to really practice that the running before the event takes place. So that's probably what a lot of them are doing at the moment, just refining their setups, making sure it's all right.
Yeah, because you don't always get to see that kind of wet running. So it is a little bit different. I know we've actually not had a massive amount of wet running recently, and that's compared to you on usually we would. But oNiD's a bit known for some wet races.
Yeah, it's bit mixed half the time towards the but
I found the
it's
culprit, Gaming Barry. Sorry, my fault. Had the wrong livery on. No problem. It just I've got a bit of an issue with my computer. For anyone that was watching my stream last night, they'd have noticed that I couldn't really do practice because anytime something needed reloading, my game would freeze. So not ideal. That's to do with me. That's not to do with the custom liveries. That is literally my issue. So, right, we are running again. I'll flick it back to the main screen so you can see the cars going around. Yes,
and back
we're
to
back.
Vetsnet.
We are back to Wetsnet. Yeah, I need to get on top of that issue because at the minute I can't be in the practice server because my screen freezes while I'm on track and then suddenly I'm smashing into someone. So,
Oh no.
Yes, it's not particularly ideal.
We don't want to be seeing that.
No. Especially if someone did that in the middle of a race or something, I'd get shot. So, and it's, yes, very strange. But there we go. We'll just have a look at Richards, who's been in our GT4 league. He's 6th on the grid in the Merc, so coming alive for Richards and Ashley then, 6th and 7th on the grid. Let's have a little look further down. Everyone thankfully has got some laps in, so I think that's the first thing to say. We have got 31 people on the grid today. I think a few people using Snetterton as their drop round. So like we were mentioning, it would have probably been the one that I would have done as my drop round because I'm not a massive fan. Yeah, still a good field tonight ahead of us, with the race starting around 5 minutes time. Shall we get some? See some folks in chat. Adam in chat as well. Good evening, sir. Well done in your 12th on the grid. Sam, prediction-wise, what shall we do? What do you think? Something random today.
Oh, random. I thought last week was random, but I did get shot by Mr. Hearn.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You might have jinxed him a little bit with that one, I think.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go with that today, but I am going to go with something that'll probably annoy Adam D a little bit. I'm going to go with Adam D to finish in the top 7.
7?
Yeah.
Can we? Let's say top 10.
Okay. I mean, if you're being nice to him.
I'm being nice to him. I'm not saying that he's not going to be able to do it into the top 7. However, if he was in the Lexus, I'd be all about it because I know how much he likes the Lexus in the wet. But I fear the Beamer might kill at some point.
That is a good point. That's a very good point. But we all have faith in Mr. Adam D today.
Yes, we
Just
do.
for once. We have to at some point.
Right, well, there's a prediction up for a little while there before the race starts. So if you're in chat and you've got some channel points, you want to try and win some channel points, crack on. For you long-time viewers, there's a couple of channel point rewards that you can use, including creating a command and making yourself a VIP in chat. So yeah, check those out. If you're a gambling person or you can do it, then there you go. Options open for you. We're just looking at Guerrero with a minute left of qualifying. Obviously not faster, but looks like he's having a whale of a time anyway. I know the cars seem reasonably even at Snetterton tonight, Sam. But in terms of in the wet, I know I know you can't be in the Lexus, so we can instantly get rid of that because we know how much me and Adam love that in the wet. But what do we kind of think for a staple kind of wet car? Which cars out there, maybe the kind of top couple cars would be the most stable and to be going around in?
I mean, I personally, but this is my own experience. I'd say Bentley's probably the best bet. Because overall for myself, it's always been relatively all right. But I've also enjoyed the Mercedes in the wet. People may say no otherwise, but I think Mercedes is a quality car in the wet or dry. And I think Johnny Ash, Richards, and a few others may bring a few surprises if it's raining.
Yeah, well, the Merc looks pretty tidy package. But then you've just got a real mix at the front. It's quite difficult to tell. You've got a Porsche, a Bentley, an Audi, and then two BMWs, and then two Mercs. So a nice mixture. Obviously, in the British series, we're matching the British GT3s in real life. So that's why we've got the pit lane, pit window with the tyres only and no refueling. We've also kind of matched the cars as well. So you're really only going to be looking at the Lamborghini, the McLaren, the BMW, Audi, Bentley, and the Porsche. I don't think I've forgotten anything. I think that is where the choices. Yeah. It does open it up a little bit because you remove some of the all random choices. Like I'd quite like a Nissan right now. I'll be honest. I'd quite
Well,
like
that'd be
to just.
quality. The Lexus as well, I'd be all over that. If you had the choice of that, of course.
Right, well, I think that'll do it. So we'll be into the timer for the race start, which will be going very shortly.
Fantastic development this is.
Well, Busting Caps, thank you very much for the follow. I hope you're enjoying the coverage this evening. As we just kind of, me and Adam, mentally prepare ourselves for an hour of a wet Snetterton look. But look at the weather. Look at the weather. You can't see it on your screen right now, but it is wet and it is going to be dry in 30 minutes. So, to be fair, that will be in the pit window. So light drizzle in 10 minutes, and it looks like at least the rain will stop in around 30 minutes. So, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens when we get there, won't it? Because if it's going to be dry, you're going to have to change to the dries, whether you feel the track's wet enough or not.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It may change a few people's strategies for today's race. Purely because now they will 100% be stopping at that pretty much half-hour point, give or take. But yeah, it's going to make this race so much more interesting than what it already is.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna mix it up because yeah, well, you might get rain at the end of the race. Who knows? So the interesting thing is they all can run really long into the pit window if they need to because they're all carrying the fuel for the race. They're not limited by how much fuel they put in at the start, so they could all just in theory run until they feel that it's dry enough, as long as the pit window's still open, and go from there. But as Stevie Bain says, this is going to be fun, and I'm inclined to agree. I think, yeah, this is going to be very interesting. I think Steve's got a long way forward to work his way through as well. He's a little bit further back than we'd usually. He's actually right behind Ryan Davies as well, who's another oNiD racing team driver as well. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see them getting going. But so here we go then. This is a full warm-up lap. I don't think they're going to have to do much ducking and weaving because the wets will be warm before they get to turn 1, I think, because they usually warm up pretty quickly.
Quite interesting as well to note. There's at least 3 drivers having started in the pit lane. Adam D, one of them, Andy Hearn, and Ollie Knowles.
So 3 seasoned regulars have not made the start. So Adam, obviously commentary extraordinaire with the prediction on, which is still open, by the way. So if anybody wants some free points right now, I think that might be the one. I think Adam's
all
throwing.
My points on that.
I think he might be throwing. But saying that, there's now a race. So I mean, top 10. I was nice, they extended it. But also Andy Hearn, and who's just done a bit of driving for it as well, and Ollie Knowles, who we've seen on Sundays in the GT3s, is no slouch either. So these 3, all in the mid pack on the grid, have all missed a start, which is, wow, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
So they're all going to be kind of working their way through for the back. So
it is also critical as well. It's quite hard when you're having to go side by side just before lights out, and there's a car ahead of you all of a sudden isn't ahead of you anymore. It's really easy to just take up that position and get a penalty that way as well. So the drivers who would have been next to them have to be very, very careful now.
It looks like with the track's wet, it's raining still. Nobody's going to be mad and start on the slicks, I don't think, unless they've made a mistake. You think, Sam?
I mean, I would have done it, maximum. I did it a few days ago, to be honest with you. It's not fun. I was spinning like every other corner.
Yeah, it's if this was GT4s, we'd be potentially seeing a bit of a gamble. And I've done a wet race start on dries before, but in the Lexus, so that's different. The Lexus is more stable. I think the only car you could maybe get away with it in this is the Bentley, but I think the rain is still going on after 10 minutes. I know it's light rain, but it's still going to be raining. Yeah, you're really going to push yourself way too far there. So I think start on the wets is the only option, really, unless someone's made a mistake. So let's go. So we've got 28 out on the grid, and we've got 3 additions starting from the pit lane. Siltovic will lead us away with Hilson, Janssen, and Kleinen on the front 2 rows. Yeah, I'm just really excited for this one to get going, to be honest, because just the changeable conditions, the racing that we saw last week. Let's see if we can get part 2 of that, because there was some excellent racing last week. Let's see if we can get more of the same. So as they're coming down the straight then, Siltovic on the left, Hilson on the right. It's quite a long run down to turn 1, and it is a fast turn 1 as well. So let's hope everyone can get through that in one piece. Coming up to the line, and they are go. So Siltovic gets a really good start, actually. Looks like he's already got a car length against Hilson, so he's going to be fairly not attacked into turn 1. It looks like Janssen's actually the one on the move in 3rd position, just trying to have a look up the inside. Couldn't quite make it. We've had a little bit of contact further back, and we've lost a few off somewhere. All seem to be rejoining it in one piece as they're coming around the hairpin. So Cole Clough down a few spots. Is that Stevie Bain's just made? Well, he's up to 15th, so he started 22nd after the pit lane starts. He's already up to 15th, so it was obviously a little bit shenanigans. Did Tass up to 9th. Finney up to 8th as well. Great start for him. Johnny brilliant. Ashley in 7th from Richards, also up to 5th. So some early movers. Let's shoot forward a little bit. Let's pick up Kleinen then, who's on the back of Janssen. Janssen already dropped a second off Hilson, who's keeping up with Zilcevic in the lead. So Janssen in third, Klein in fourth, Richards, and then Browning in sixth place. These guys are really close together. There's still some movers further down as well. Hein in 19th. I think the McLaren will be a little bit of a handful. He's got a Mercedes of Rafnaiki alongside, who's coming down to take 19th. He's going to try on the... Oh, he just drove round him before he even got there. I was getting confused by the cars in front as well, to be fair. But that's a really nice... We got lost the car in the background, unfortunately, so Ramat's round. Looks like he was helped, whether just too late on the brakes or just made a mistake off the curb. It looked like he was helped. Matt Wilmot up to 16th, Ryan Davies up to 17th, Stevie Bain obviously up to 14th. So if I have a look at the movers and shakers at the minute, Stevie Bain's up 8 places, Hein and Rathnaki are up 6. I think the ones involved at the start were De Vroid, who's down 9 places, and also Cameron and Bruce, who are both also down 9 positions. We've also lost Ollie Knowles to the pit lane. Has he actually done a lap, or is he still in the pit lane? I'm not sure.
I'm not too sure there either.
I'm not sure if he actually made it out or not. So he's still in the pit lane, unfortunately. But these two at the front, starting already to race away a little bit. They've already got a 2-second lead back to Kleinen. Well, that was fairly well behaved, apart from some shenanigans we missed at turn 1, Sam.
Yeah, it was good. There was some good racing throughout there. Steve Bain, what a start from the man as well. As you were saying, up 8 positions. I think it's incredible. Hein as well, brilliant move around the outside there. Caught that on camera as well. Brilliant to watch.
Well, I should be giving Benson a shout as well. He's up 9 positions. He's up to 11th position in the Porsche. He's also set the fastest lap, which just shows how good that first lap was. Obviously, it's a little bit of pinch of salt because some people, it's the first lap, so it includes kind of the end of quali. But you can see that he was definitely moving on that lap. He's up 9 positions and already pressuring. Well, I think he's just lost a spot. I might have jinxed him to Guerrero.
Yeah, he broke very late into that corner as well, and then he went back into Guerrero there.
De Tass in 9th. He's on the back of Jongen, who's starting to move up by the look of it. So he's gone up a few positions. See if he can replicate the pace from last week where he won. De Tass then settling into 9th. Another good solid drive so far from him. Good start, nice clean start. And Richard slotting in 10th, who's lost a few spots somewhere. So we've got Browning up to 5th. And Johnny Ashley in 6th position right now, as Richard's working his way back through then, so obviously I just had an issue somewhere that lap. Oh no!
Oh no!
After he's going to be livid with that one.
Oh!
He's going to be absolutely livid with that, because after that start, and my replay is kind of working. Oh, I think he just got squeezed there, to be fair. It didn't look like him at all. I think it was Benson in front just seemed to move across, whether he was alongside, and it was the BMW just sliding through by himself there at the end of that clip.
Wanted to be involved.
Yeah, just wanted to get on TV. Well, not TV, but Jongen then has made his way past Zach Finney. He's now on the back of Johnny Ashley. I don't think if Jongen gets a sniff, I think Johnny won't be fighting him too much. He knows, although there's no classes, so it is for points, but it is early in the race, so he'll be wanting to keep it safe. One thing, Sam, it's down to damp already then.
Yeah. It looked like as well it's going to get dry a lot sooner than what we predicted it would be, because it was saying half an hour, but all of a sudden it's just saying 10 minutes. So yet again, strategy changing.
I don't think anybody would have been mad enough to do the dries just in case, but given it's a damp track already, believe me, you can get away with driving those slick tyres on the damp track if you've got them up to temperature. So we might see people diving in the pits a little bit earlier than we anticipated then. I thought they might be having to wait till the end of the pit window, but doesn't look like that's the case. Johnny here putting up a good showing anyway. He looks very strong through the last sector there, so he pulled a little bit of a gap on Jongen. Zildjić with the fastest lap at 1:55 dead. Just pulled a few tenths on Hilson, so he's now got a 2-second lead back to second. So looking good at the front, and they have spaced out a little bit for the top 5. Richards trying to have a look at the back of Finney, and he just drives through the back of Finney. I'll be honest, that looked like he just drove through the back of him. So not particularly impressive driving there, to be honest. But we'll let the stewards pick up on that one afterwards with no low stewards, but we do have a instant reporting system in place, so our penalties and such after the races. Anything you're looking at, Sam, that's fairly close right now?
I'm still on board with Johnny Ash. He's in a great 3-race scrap here with Brunek and Yongden. Very much so, holding his own as well. He is the slower of the 3, I'd say, personally. But yeah.
Just on board with Matt Wilmot, who's worked his way up, and the Porsche in front was really struggling there, really early on the brakes, and Matt's appeared to give him the bunts there. I think that caught him off guard. So I don't know if he's got damage from the contact. Is that Benson in front? I think he was the one that was turned by Richards. So Matt just getting caught out there, and just bumping the back of him, both losing a couple of spots.
It's very easy to do with the wet as well. You don't really know when you're braking. Each lap it can be different, because obviously with 31 cars circulating the circuit at once, it can change the track very, very quickly, as we're seeing already.
Well, this is DeVroy defending against a damaged Stevie Bain, who's trying to poke his nose up the inside. That was brave. Not quite going to be able to make it there. So giving it a good go anyway. These two come around. This is for 18th position. In front of Heike van der Veen as well. Solid start from him. Heike's up 6 places as well. So plenty of movement. I think we've lost Benson in the background. I'm not sure if that's going to be returned to pit with. I think he was just restarting the engine, so he's going to try and rejoin. We've just shifted to Klein, and he's got the fastest lap now. Nearly a second faster than the cars in front. Actually, a full second faster than Hilson in front. So the conditions definitely changing. I think it'll be interesting to see who's gone with a dry setup. If
I reckon a lot of drivers may have actually gone for a dry setup, considering they could see that the race was going to be dry pretty much from the half-hour point. I would have gone dry. I reckon many others would have done as well. I'm not sure about yourself there, Ben. You're probably the better driver, because you'd be able to know more.
I'd have gone dry setup. I'll be honest. I would have agreed with you on that one. I think you could see how much time was going to be in the dry. So I'd have probably just gambled on the fact that it wouldn't rain again. But who knows? I mean, it could. Other people with the wet setups, it might just suit these conditions early on, and then it might flick around later. Some cars you don't really need to do much to the setup to make it work in the wet. So
it'll be very interesting though, because we will be able to tell quite easily who's gone for dry, who's gone for wet.
Well, that's exactly right. Also, who's got their pressures right, because
yeah,
you know, with a changeable condition track, it can be quite difficult to get those pressures right, making sure that you're in the operating window, you're not just far too high on pressures or far too low. And also, if someone pits early for dry, so they don't kind of destroy them by driving around on a slightly damp track, which can make the car a lot slidier.
You would want to hope though that, considering we have had changeable conditions in every session today, that they may have a vague idea where their tyre pressures need to be for when they do box. But yeah, it's all pretty much just hoping for the best though still, because we don't know how quick the track's going to dry.
Well, we've got
as well.
We've got Gaming Barry in chat. So that is no fun. I have no bias there. I'm guessing that means it hasn't gone well. I'm sorry. Live AK, damp, light, medium rain. It started as, I'd probably say, medium rain. On the heavy side, it's now down to drizzle, and that's expected to kind of drift off in the next 10 minutes. to dry up. And the GT4 track, in my opinion, I agree. But it's amazing watching the GT3s go around here. It really is, compared to watching things like the GT4s or even like touring cars and things. So just gonna Mr. Adam D doing some work. Is he gonna go around the outside here as well? Keep it clean, keep it clean. So from pit lane start, he's just made up 2 spots in three corners there. I guess there was a little bit of to do in front. The 10th place is still on. He does have to make a pit stop, Sam, but
everyone else does as well.
De Freud then making his way up to 18th. I think he just got past Keys, who was just having a, I don't know if they were having a moment. De Freud on the back of Hein as well, so we'll just flick over to him. Give you a little bit of an update up front. Siltswitch still leads by 2 seconds. Hilson just put in the quickest lap of the race, but he was only 0.008 of a second faster than Siltswitch. So those two running very quick pace, and to be fair, all of the top 5 are in the 55s right now, so they're really putting in some really good laps. I think with most of the rest of the field in the 56s and 57s. I was going to say that was a great move while I was looking at the timing screen, and he did well to save it, to be fair. So he's lost the spot, but he did well not to end up in the wall.
He's going to go get him as well. Is he going to make it? Oh, it's very tight.
Very tight.
May have to back out here.
To be fair, Hein was extremely generous there. Could have done a lot more to run him out there, but didn't. Gave him just about enough space to get away with it. Freud then going to try around the outside again. Just going to have to slot in behind, try the undercut, get on the power. Yeah, he's got on the switch pack. I think Hein just clipped the curb on the outside. Oh, what a move!
Brilliant.
What a move from Hein. Back in front. I think De Vroid's going to have a dive. I think there's going to be a switch back there, and I think De Vroid might be under pressure from the McLaren behind as well. Great racing from these two though. De Vroid obviously pushing and does appear to be a little bit faster, but fantastic driving from Hein, keeping him behind for now. Let's go on board with Hein then, looking behind. Be interesting to see if he defends the inside. He is defending the inside. There is a car alongside. De Vroid then trying to go around the outside. Is he going to make it? Can he get it stopped?
I think he's got it there.
He has got it stopped. But
he's going back in.
Hein's going to have another go. Is he just about there?
Yeah,
just about.
That great is stuff. Great racing though. Brilliant.
Yeah, what absolute fantastic stuff. I mean, the McLaren doing pretty well to deal with a very, very fast in the straight line Lamborghini there as well. So before just getting it wrong there, can Hein get back in behind? It looks like the grunt of the Lambo getting him away down the straight then. So let's have a look about. I think Stevie Baines just made his way past Heike van der Veen, has he? Oh no, Heike van der Veen's up the inside. Heike's got back up the inside, so I think so Stevie's got past.
Made a mistake.
Yeah, must have made a mistake. So Heike, right, running the Racing Stronger livery. So if you don't know Racing Stronger, racingstronger.com, or check out the Discord for all things mental wealth. Something that we support here at oNiD Racing, and Heike, one of the ambassadors of that. Great move from him down at the hairpin. We'll flip backwards again. These guys are still going behind. It's really going. I mean, Adam and Ryan and Andy Hearn as well have now caught up the action. So getting stuck in. It looks like Ryan's gonna just sneak past this BMW. Yeah, so Wells just running a little bit wide, and then Ryan having to defend from Adam. He's going to try for the outside. Can't quite got the drive out of the corner.
Well worth noting the rain has not stopped as well. But it looks like it hasn't. I just see those windscreen wipers moving.
The window wipers were still going, but I think that was literally them finishing. So as we look behind, I think Adam. That's Hein. That's not ideal. Let's have a little look back at what has happened there. I was just saying this is Hind then, just going to clip the curb, is he? A bit of over rotation, loses the back end, does well, holds the brake, doesn't hit the wall, he's not on the racing line, and he'll be able to rejoin. I was just saying, Sam, McLaren thing is definitely McLaren things. Adam then dropped a few spots, so he's got a couple more places to get through again. And him and Andy Hearn have just seemed to be next to each other all race.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Literally anything Andy Hearn does, Adam just follows him through.
So I think Hilson's had an off somewhere, so he's dropped to 4th place then. Yeah, he did a 58.7, which is some 3-4 seconds off the cars around him now. The pace really speeding up now. We're up down to the 54s now. So Hilson within a mistake then, by the look of it. Don't know whether by himself or I don't think there's any bound markers yet. So yeah, he's back in 4th position. Gonna have to work his way back through. There is a bit of a gap behind him. He's got a good 7 seconds behind, but yeah, he's going to have to try and get past the Audi of Janssen again.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for him because we all know Janssen will make it hard. But you also now have to think about when am I going to pit in? Is it going to draw up too quickly? Do they have to pit in before the pit window? Probably not, because the pit window opens in a few laps time. But it's going to be very interesting to see when people do make the move to go to the pits.
How long is the... Oh, I've forgotten. Is it 20 minutes in the middle of the race? Is it? I can't remember if it was 20 minutes or 15 minutes off the top of my head. I haven't got the page in front of me which tells me. But yeah, there's not long to go. It'll be interesting to see who takes the gamble first. Whether someone goes for it straight away. Yeah, we'll flip back to this fight then. So this is Keys in front of Ryan Davies, in front of Wells, Hearn, D. This is 18th through to 22nd. I saw a comment in chat saying, "Isn't McLaren the ugliest car in game?" Ooh, I don't know about you, Sam. I said that the BMW was the ugliest car in the game. But,
I fully agree with you. The BM just looks like a box. But you look at that livery right there, the oNiD fans
livery, yes.
You can't beat it. You honestly can't.
Can I get a close-up of that? I'm not sure. But Ryan making his way past Keys then. I think we have had Finney in the pits, so that must be for damage because that's before the pit window's opened. Unless he's got that wrong. So Zach Finney's going to drop right back and not taking his mandatory stop yet. We've got Keys, Wells, D and Hearn. So Adam's got past Andy Hearn. I shouldn't sound surprised, but
oh, I am.
Adam's definitely got that. He likes a bit of wet weather, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He's right on the back of Wells as well now.
He's always been quick and he's always been rapid. Still worth noting as well, Heike van der Veen and Steve Bain still going at it.
They are. There's only 3/10 between them right now as well.
Yeah. Steve Bain made a mistake earlier on, had to let van der Veen back last. But he's been keeping right on the back of him ever since. So I'm going to keep an eye on this on my screen.
Well, this is on screen. We've got De Vroid then under pressure from Davies, and we've seen some good action for De Vroid so far. Quite aggressive, but him and Hines have had some good back and forths. Hines, sorry. But now he's the cork in the bottle, as it were. So he's got Davies, Keys, D, Wells, and Hearn behind, all in a line. At some point we've missed Jongen going past Johnny Ashley, so Jongen in 6th, and he's currently right on the back. As he's just a little bit too late on the brake, and the window's open, so it was 20 minutes.
A lot of people are being in as well. Van der Veen, Steve Bain, literally everyone. And there's no crash there as well.
Yeah, that's one way to block the pit lane. I would just drive right out of the way. There were so many people coming into the pit lane there on a wet entry as well, so that would be a wet pit lane entry. That's not going to be damp, that's not going to be greasy or dry, that is going to be super wet, and yeah, all it would take is a bit of a snap up. Interestingly, the leaders had already gone past when the pit lane opened.
I wonder if that's going to slightly hinder them, because it is getting quite dry on track. You can see very clearly a dry line forming on the track now, which would be worth a lot as Johnny Ash goes on track.
We've given him some stream jinx there as he just loses the place to Richards, then drops back to 8th, but he's still got a nice gap behind, so not the end of the world just yet. But yeah, as you say, Sam, it is greasy, and you can see that in the top right.
Yeah.
So it's a greasy track. It's just gone from damp to greasy. So
very interesting as well. All the leaders are in, apart from Kleinen. Kleinen stayed out.
Johnny's staying out as well. So Johnny obviously feeling quite comfortable.
Andy Hearn with
the stop and go. So that'll be speeding in the pit lane then. Looks like a good call from Johnny there if he can keep the tyres in. He's just come out in front of a load of traffic, so he's got a nice clear track in front. It's just whether the wets are able to give him enough, or if he's going to be struggling. But as you say, Kleinen was one of the leaders who decided, no, I'm fine. I'm just going to keep on going. I'm going to do at least another lap, which if it means you're entering the pit lane with a bit of a quieter pit lane, may not be a bad idea.
Yeah. When there is loads of cars in the pit, it is hard to spot your marker, so it might have actually been a better idea to just leave it a few laps, wait for the crowd to go.
Yeah, exactly, especially if he's got a bit of a clear track in front. It does look, Steve Bain then, who had the damage, looks like he's dropped 5 seconds to Van der Veen. They've both pitted, but that might be, I think Steve's fixed the damage, so interested to see his pace now. But Kleinen definitely catching Bain up here to put a lap on him, so it'll be interesting to see if Kleinen decides, okay, I'm just about to get stuck with some back markers who have already pitted. Is it worth boxing now?
I'd be surprised if he doesn't, to be honest with you.
I'd be inclined to agree with you now. I think now is the time that everybody will be diving into the pit lane. Cole Clough then on the back of Guerrero. This is currently for 11th. There are a few pit stops around to happen, but I'm not sure many of the ones that are going to be happening will be impacting.
Kleinen boxes.
Yeah, so Kleinen in the pits. Do you reckon Johnny's going to pit, or do you reckon he wants the one lap of glory?
I don't know. Oh, he's coming in.
He's coming in, so that's probably sensible. And he's got Davies, right? Isn't that Davies behind? No, it wasn't Davies behind. I'm just trying to work out who that McLaren was behind, but he might have been the lap car. This is Ryan Davies on the back of Janssen. So Janssen was much further forward than Davies before the pit stop. So I'm wondering if that's Janssen's coming back through after an incident, or not entirely sure.
Quite possible.
That was probably because Davies was one of the first to pit, wasn't he? It could well be that he was one of the first to pit, and yeah, it kind of worked out for them because he's also in front of Hilson. Oh, sorry, Ryan Davies hasn't pitted. That's I was really trying to. I was in a muddle there. I was really trying to work out. I went full crofty on that one. I do apologise. So our leader then, Siltovic leads still. Himself, Klein and Janssen, Hilson, all around the same kind of distance apart. I would like to say, because I could see the time, Sam, they're not quicker.
No.
They are.
It's quite interesting.
They will be running around on reasonably cool tyres, which will take a few laps to get up to speed. So whether the wets were giving way anyway, although I say that Sam Finney, he has pitted. We did see him pit, but it didn't count because it wasn't within the pit window. I'm not sure if he put on dries or wets. I'm assuming by that sort of lap time he put on dries. So it looks like it's going to take them just a few laps to get used to it.
I think it is worth giving Adam D his moment in some as well. He does have the fastest lap.
He just got and not just a little bit either. That was a 52.8. That's seconds faster than anyone else has done. So the dry tyres. There you go. He's still got the old window wipers going, which is.
Why not?
Adam, use your box for its button box from Sim stuff and
I have no reason.
turn them off. But no, fastest lap. Let's pick up who's close. We've got Johnny. Then I don't think the tactic paid off. He's lost about Well, he lost a 5-second lead to Detas. Whether that was because he got caught in traffic or whether because the wets had gone. He's now going to have to work his way back past Detas.
It's going to be very interesting now. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting now because I have to do, well, close to 40 minutes of this race on the same set of tyres. They will be going off by the end of it. I wonder if we may see some people pit again if it gets too bad.
Oh, we haven't got any more rain scheduled. A bit of a shame, to be honest, Sam, isn't it? I mean, that would have been
Yeah,
great.
it would have been fun.
You never know. We've had it before where we had it in a GT4 race at Snetterton where it rained with, I think it was 8 or 10 minutes to go, and it just chucked it down, and half the grid stayed out and half the grid came in. And then it was trying to watch the guys on wet tyres trying to chase them down. So, but all of the guys look like they're kind of back into the 51s. Kleinen on the 57 on his first lap out of the pit, so it does look like it's taken them a couple of laps to get those tyres up to working temperature. So Kleinen still 4 seconds behind Silsvich, who is out in the lead by himself. But I'm just looking, fastest lap currently for Richards at 150.6, so you can see the difference between the times that they were doing 5-10 minutes ago and now is quite considerable.
Track is no longer greasy as well as moved to fast, so should start. Oh, I thought it was going to go for a move there.
Yeah, I think Heike was looking for that move, but we can probably tell you that to beat a BMW on the brakes from that far back would be pretty ridiculous. So
yeah, you'd pretty much not have to brake.
Exactly, quite sensibly got out of that. But yeah, the Mert looking good in these kind of drying conditions. As you say, now we're at a fast track, so I'm sure it won't be too long before they're at optimum. Oh, Heike, that's fine. Restart the engine, not a dink. That's a tiny dink. That'll be absolutely fine to carry on. He's only going to drop a few places. Well, I think it was safe to say he was pushing. I hope you're not watching the stream, Heike. Don't listen to us. Don't see that you're on screen. You're still absolutely fine. Guerrero is not fine. I think he's also having to restart it. So, looks like it'll be the curbs, won't it? It'll be the curbs and the grass that'll be catching these guys out now, I think.
Yeah, they are still bad at some spots. Which is probably what's catching a few cars out, I'd suspect.
Yeah, because in dry conditions you can use a lot of the track here without getting penalties. You know, it's not a problem just dipping a tyre on the grass, but in these sort of conditions when it's been raining, you're on dry tyres, yeah, it can be very difficult. But Mercedes looking really handy around here though in the dry conditions. All of the Mercs seem to be on the back of someone else. So Jongen then up to 6th, Browning behind in front, who's just a little bit slower now than the front 4, so dropping a little bit further back, but doing well to hold these two off. Fastest lap at the minute is Hilson. Oh, we just lost Richard in the background. Let's get an on board of what it looks like when you outbrake yourself. He just clipped the barrier, but he should be okay from that. So he's just going to clip that. Just going to clip curb on the inside, though.
That's what we were saying a few moments before.
Exactly, that's all it takes. So Richards then rejoins. He's lost 5 seconds, but at least he's still in the race in 7th position. I'm looking down the order, Sam. They've all calmed down. They've all spaced out a little bit.
Once.
We've got Ramat's kind of recovering after an incident, so he's going to come in and fix his damage. If we go down a little bit further back, we've got Bruce, Kiernitzer and Wells then. This is the closest fight on the track, so 24th, 25th and 26th. I think it's probably worth mentioning that we've just totally lost Ollie from the session, so I don't think he's done any laps. So I'm assuming he's had a hardware issue somewhere at the start, which is why he didn't ready up, because I don't think that's normally like him to not race. And a few people who had incidents in the wet were Benson, Skip and Ramat now on the drying track. has had an incident, so those 3 are a little bit further back. I think we've also had an incident for Andy Hearn as well, who's in 27th. So 26 runners still on the lead lap, with those other 5 further back.
Yeah, halfway through this race, and for the second week in a row, we've had some awesome racing. Turns out British GT, just like real life, is absolutely incredible to watch.
Exactly. Yeah, we can't
It's
argue
brilliant.
for entertainment. I think
No.
they've chosen a good series to commentate on here, so.
Yeah, can't ask much more, man.
Get some more of this. It's almost like, it feels a lot like the Sundays, I think, with the GT3s, but it's definitely a different take on it with the all British tracks. I do like the British series. We've done the GT4 British series before, but we've never done one which purely matches the GT3 actual British GTs. So yeah, it does seem to be working out for us and providing a lot of action.
Is exactly what you want to see as well. There's literally action all throughout the field. It may have come down for a bit now. That happened last week as well for a brief, like 5-10 minute period, but it all kicked off again. I'm expecting the same thing to happen once they all find each other somewhere on track.
So that was Sean going past Finney. So Finney's pitted for his mandatory stop after pitting earlier. This is De Freud then. Just seems to have dropped back a little bit. It looked like the Lamborghini was treating him better in the wet. Maybe he did have a bit of a wet setup on the go. But he's still latched to the back of Ryan Davies. So this is the fight for 17th position. These two have been kind of bumper to bumper for a little while now.
Oh, he's going for it there. Oh.
I think that's more of that feels a bit more of an outbreak than anything else. What that says to me is drop the ABS a little bit. Might still be running slightly too high ABS with the drier track, because that just didn't. He looked early enough on the brake. It just didn't stop. So, but he's obviously got the speed. When he does get his stops, you can see how tight he is through the corner. So that's not going to be the ideal
That's
line.
not going to help him though.
It still looked pretty steady over the grass as well. So obviously quick. Just needs to tidy that up a little bit. We have got a couple of fights forming now as cars kind of get a little bit closer to each other. Wells on the back of Bruce, that's 24th and 25th, but we're going to go shoot forward Hilson, and let's go on board with Janssen actually. So this is Janssen coming through traffic. So that was Kleinen in front, both the SRT drivers, second and third currently, and now having to slowly start to work their way through the traffic. But Janssen will be feeling the pressure here, won't he? Because Hilson is, what, 4 tenths behind?
Yeah, he will. Worth also mentioning it. Remember earlier we were writing Adam D off a little bit. He's into 30.
He is into 13th. How did that happen then? Can you explain that one to me, Sam? How's this happened?
I don't know. I actually do not know. I'm in shock. But he's gaining on Matt Wilmot as well. But the only issue is that there is like a 19-second gap to 11th place. So
that's true, but I mean, yeah, absolutely fair play from the pit lane. And being 26th or something like that after one lap, he's done really well to work his way back through, even with the slight little off that we witnessed, that we might have jinxed a little bit. But this is Janssen then. You can see still catching more lap traffic. Sam's still in chat. Come on, Adam, push. Yeah, he's definitely pushing. In 13th position, trying to catch up Matt. That'll be interesting for the debrief. We've got a car off in front. I think that's one of the cars getting lapped. Not sure who that was. That was Kianitsa then, having the issue out of turn 1, in between turn 1 and turn 2. Also got Matt Holman in chat. Good evening, Matt. Great racing. Yeah, it really has been great racing, to be fair. So, yeah, we couldn't ask for much more. I think that. I think after the race we'll quickly watch back Stevie Bain's first lap to see how he managed to gain 9 places in a lap.
I think that's what
and
everyone wants to see.
yes, I think everyone wants to see it, but also we'll get some clips up later on their Discord or something about the Freud Hein fight, where they were side by side for what felt like about 6 corners, which was fantastic as well. These two, by the way, catching Kleinen in front. So Kleinen in second. He's getting caught by his teammate Janssen, who's in third, and Hilson sticking with him as well. So is that Silcevic? It is. I think has he had an issue somewhere because his pace was up there. So this is the lead pack then. This is the front four. So Silcevic has had an issue somewhere. I'm sure when he comes over the line, we'll see a slower lap from him. Can you see any damage on that, Sam? I can't see anything. I think
I can't see anything noticeable. They may have spun off, not him, potentially. But we'll find out in a sec.
I think that car looks fine. So I think he survived whatever incident he's had. But saying that, his last lap was a 49. So have I just totally missed something? or maybe if he invalidated it, did it not come up on my timing screen? But it just seems a lot closer. So I don't think I'm going totally mad. But anyway,
While you're watching the front pack as well, Adam is now inside a second of Matt Wilmot. However, he has Steve Bain for company behind him, who has not got a drive-through yet. No, a big surprise.
Oh, we had to mention it. I think I was going to. I might rename the emote, the drive-through emote, for those in chat. If you've got it, to it's currently called Dave, I think, because of drive-through Dave. But maybe we'll call it drive-through Bane from now on. Sean in chat, no wonder Ben is on comms. He does not like this track. You are correct. I really don't like this track. So I seem to remember last time I did this track on this game in the GT4, I got punted off into a wall by Dave. So
that sounds about right.
So yeah, that wasn't ideal. They've just broken up a little bit. You can see again the gap just sort of building out again. So climbing the second off Silcevic and Janssen then dropping back to what, 2 seconds behind. So I think they might have got caught out having a fight that I wasn't looking at. So I think Hilson might have had a little small off. Janssen might have a small off, maybe with a lap car. Pick that up. I'm now going to pick up this. So this is the fight you were talking about, Sam.
Yeah,
this is Wilmot D and Stevie Bain.
I've been watching it for a few laps. Bain is terrorising the back of Adam D right now. Never thought I'd say that.
Sean is bad mouthing me in chat. It wasn't me that torpedoed the Clio. Thank you very much. It's nice, Snetterton. Oh yeah, I see the apology. Yeah, thank you very much. Domante playing with PC2 on Project Cars 2 with shifter cars. I bet that's good as Adam goes to the inside. Matt just running a little bit wide. I think Adam will get it done. Is Stevie going to try and follow him through? Can't quite do it, but he's going to latch right onto the back of him. Well, these three will be in chat later, chatting about this. They might even be in chat right now together, which, if this ends in tears, might be a bit entertaining. But
it's very close.
We really do need to remind Adam about his windscreen wiper button though, because that is still going mad. It looks like he's starting to gap Matt just a little bit. Stevie looking for a way past as well now.
Well, Adam has been looking very quick this race, it must be said.
Oh, I think Stevie nearly giving the fabled bump to Matt. Then he's going to tie into the slipstream. Let's see if the Porsche can do anything. I know it's not great down the straights, but the BMW's not
with him quite well. Let's go for it. I think so.
Not quite. Young, for those wondering, Jongen still in 6th position, then Browning in 5th, only half a second ahead. Those two have been close for, well, since before the pit stops actually. Richards has dropped away a little bit from those two, so we assume that the damage that he picked up from that little tap with the wall is slowing him down a little bit. Johnny's made his way past Detas and Coldclough, up to 10th, so works his way back up after the slight off earlier in the race. He's back up into the top 10. Adam dropping these two then, Sam.
Unfortunately for him, though, I just saw he still has 25 seconds to 11th, so
Oh,
Steve Bain goes for it.
so Matt
Has he
just
got it
running
here?
deep on the same
Yes, he
corner.
has.
Big shout out to Mr. Wilmot though on the controller in these
Oh,
conditions,
they've
doing the
both gone
great
off.
work. He's doing fantastic work with the controller,
Oh.
a resident controller user. I know there's a few. He's
You know
having
what?
an
They
absolute.
both did.
Both did the
Yeah,
same thing. He's
yeah.
going to get back round the outside.
Literally, they both
Oh,
went off
lovely.
on the exit of that last corner. But brilliant move by Matt there. He
And,
speaks for himself.
and there's the clip. Just gets it wrong under braking. Very tricky little complex. And Stevie Bain then sets off after Adam D for 12th. As you mentioned, I think Adam's a little bit too far back now for the prediction, unless there's some carnage in front. So 26 seconds between Sean in 11th and D in 12th. This is Hiker. So I think De Vroid might have got past recently. So it seems to be the other way around, but Hiker with a slight bit of damage from when we were watching him last time on stream, having a slight issue with the ball. You can see the bonnet moving around a lot, but he's definitely pressuring De Vroid here.
I was surprised he was able to keep up that much in the straight, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought the Lamborghini would have gone.
Yeah, the man looked pretty good down the straight, didn't he? He was not losing the Lamborghini at all. So it's definitely interesting. See that the Lambo's definitely a handful in the dry conditions. It does make me feel, it does feel like they've got, it's got more of a dry setup on that thing. How it's handling anyway. Not really stopping as well. But they are catching Guerrero. So Guerrero in 15th is now only a second in front of these two. So this has become a bit of a three-car fight.
There is also a battle starting to brew now between Johnny Ash, who's staying around 8 tenths ahead of him, Richards and Tass as well.
So it's Richards.
Tass is right on the back of Richards.
I think
He's gone for a move as well.
Yeah, I think Richards has had another issue somewhere, because he was in 7th, wasn't he? So he's just dropped a couple more places behind Ashley, behind the Tass. He's dropped to 9th. There's quite a sizable amount of damage on the front of that car. Whether he's had another incident in addition to his earlier one. He's now got 16 minutes. It's not worth pitting at this point because there's no more mandatory stops. Just got to try and make the best of it. I think he's got a couple of places behind, and then he's got that big gap back to 12. So just keeping it on the track, or trying to keep it on the track, will be the main order of the day. De Vroid then making a move on Guerrero at turn 1. Van der Veen just dropped off the back of him a little bit. De Vroid late on the brake, but does well to get that done. Guerrero's going to try and fight this. Undercut coming unless he holds the inside quite tightly, but he does well, gets the power on early, and that looks like it's done. So yeah, De Vroid up to 15th. Guerrero drops to 16th with Van der Veen following too.
Baz De Vroid has been providing us with some great racing today, to be honest with you. I don't know if you guys remember, we had that great battle earlier on as well. And yet again, he's just proved himself there. Some great overtaking on that car. And I wonder if he's going to be able to catch the car ahead. Probably not. Probably in the same situation as what Adam's in right now.
Yeah, he's got Matt Wilmot in front, hasn't he? And it looks like it might be a bit of a tall order to get him, but yeah, De Vroid's been up and down, but his pace has definitely been there, and he's made some lovely overtakes as well. So I think that is the sign of a dead car for Richards, unfortunately. So that is a return to garage, obviously just not with the damage taken, not working out. So that will make everyone from 11th down up a position. Also, I just spotted a yellow flag for Ryan Davies. I think that was a pretty quick rejoin, so nothing too major. Doesn't look like he's picked up any damage. The timing board's going mad because Richards slipping down.
Well worth noting, Adam D only needs one more position now to get 10th. And I don't know how he's going to be able to do this.
From the pit lane as well. Who would have thought it? I don't think Adam would have thought it. So fair play. Him, I think Andy Han had a bit of an issue somewhere for the pit, so he's dropped back. But yeah, Adam D's had a fantastic run so far. I don't want to jinx it. But what we're looking at the minute is Bruce, Hine and Wells then, so this is a fight for 20 seconds, and you wouldn't know it's for only 20 seconds because they are absolutely going for it, as you'd anticipate. Hine covering the inside, that's Wells on the outside in the BMW. He's going to go for a dive. The BMW is mighty on the brakes, of course.
Oh, he's going for it.
Hine just moved across a little bit and obviously didn't realise that Wells was just going to absolutely send. I forgot that I'd set up a Bane command in chat. There you go, Bane. Sending it on Adam since 2022. Stevie, you're meant to be driving, man. I think he's trying to say. Oh, that is a send, though. That is a bit of a send. I think he'll probably give that one back if he's. He has given. Is he giving it back? Yeah, he has given it back. Yeah. I think Steve was.
Bane can do that, but like.
Well, he's obviously trying to notify us that he's all over the back of Adam. Really is all over the back of him. Yeah, I was just going to say, maybe he's got a hotkey or something for the Bane command in chat.
Why are you watching?
Go on.
While you're watching this battle, Bruce has got very interesting up top again. There's two battles forming, one for first, one for third. There's not a lot in it at all.
I can see it on the timing screen as well. Hilson is really getting up close. We'll flick that to back in a second. We'll just see if Bane gets a run through here, and then we'll flick forward to either Janssen on the back of Zilcevic or Hilson on the back of Kleinen, and there's still only, what, 3 seconds, 4 seconds? 4 seconds covering the top 4?
Yeah, it's very
so, yeah, let's flick up to the front then. Zilcevic leading, and yeah, Janssen. So Janssen's got past Kleinen somewhere, is that? I'm not losing my mind when I say that. The BMW was in second at one point, wasn't he? And so now Janssen's got past, it looks like. He's chasing down Zilcevic for the lead. There's still 11 minutes to go, so plenty of time to go. So Ryan just gets out of the way of these two on the inside. Nicely done as he gets the blue flags. So these two very close together, and you can see in the background as well, that red BMW followed by the green Bentley, that's Kleinen and Hilson. So...
Oh, is he going for it? He's missed.
I was thinking about it. That was... that felt like more of an outbreak than an actual move. On board with Zilcevic then. He's got the run, hasn't he? He's got the straight line speed. He's really going to have to really go for it around the outside if he can make that stick. Fair plays. Oh, there's a swapper on for Zilcevic. So Janssen goes to the outside.
He's got it.
And he has got it. So that's a new leader then. So Zilcevic, apart from the pit stop lap, has led every lap so far. And Janssen has just kind of come alive over the last few laps. So Janssen takes the lead. Zilcevic drops to second. Hilson's also come to life as well with the fastest lap of the race so far. Hilson up to third, so he's got past Kleinen. So let's see if he can get up to the back of Zilcevic as well. This isn't even over for those kind of podium spots. These four really close together then. It'll be interesting to see if Zilcevic can stay close or try and make a move back past though. Because it was more a mistake that led him through, wasn't it?
There has also been a crash further back involving Adam D and Steve Payne.
Oh no.
So that's going to be interesting.
It looks like Wilmot has picked his way past Stevie Bain and is right on the back of Adam. So yeah, that looked like from the timings, I think that's quite a sizable one. Browning, I think, has had a moment as well. Jongen slipped past him, so those two have been 30 minutes of this little race have been next to each other. Sean trying to be funny in chat with the disaster jokes, although I will have to steal that for one of the commands. Thank you very much. This is Zilcevic then, right on the back of Janssen still, so he hasn't dropped away. We know the Audi's good in the straight. Can the Porsche pressure him into a mistake?
Yeah, they're all closing up to each other in this top four. It's going to be very interesting final 9 minutes of this race, especially with these lapped cars getting away.
Yeah, there's lots of traffic in front of them as well now, so they've got quite a few cars to kind of pick their way through. You can see as the camera pans through, we've got a few. The first one getting out of the way. That's a brave place to get out of the way and not have your own accident. So I'm not sure who that was. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure who that was. I think that might have been Ramat there. But he did well to get out of the way as Janssen just runs a little bit on the grass. You can see that it all got condensed a little bit up by the lap traffic. There's still quite a few cars of lap traffic in front of them, but they're going to be coming round. Janssen's got the pace down the straight, but you can see Zilcevic can really carry this pace through there, and Hilson's even going to have a look as well, so he's caught right back up as well with that traffic. Hiker getting well out of the way. You couldn't be any more out of the way around the hairpin. It just looks like Kleinen's dropped back, so it looks like this is turning into a bit of a 3-horse race for the win. I've probably jinxed that now, and Kleinen will catch them back up through this traffic. But yeah, it's Janssen, Zilcevic and Hilson top 3 in front of you, all 3 different constructors. Absolutely going for it.
Oh,
a little bit late on the
Hilson's
brakes.
Oh. Zilcevic is very lucky there, to be honest with you. Another day, Hilson could just smart the inside and got him for second.
Yeah, he could have quite easily just tapped the back of him, but no, managed to get away with that one, so these 3 continue. A summary elsewhere, Adam then 11th. Wilmot, there's a yellow flag for Mr. Wilmot. Looks like he's coming back on without incident though, with Stevie catching back up again. Those guys are good, ready to go another time. Ollie in chat. Sorry to hear that, Ollie. We did wonder why you were just sat in the pit lane, so that makes perfect sense. Hope everything's alright. We did wonder what had happened to you. But you've joined us back at the action with 7 minutes to go and a 4-way fight for the lead. Definitely a 3-way fight for the lead, these 3. Less than a second covering the top 3 with 6 minutes to go. We've probably got, what, 4 laps to go? Definitely not over yet in chat. Sam, there's definitely plenty of time for someone to fire themselves off the track.
Mate, literally anything can happen right now with these cars getting out of the way. This is the last one for a while, so they should be fine for a few laps.
To be fair, the lap traffic don't really have to just dive out the way like that, but because this is the fight for the lead, they are doing a really good job of just staying out of the way. Hilson with the save. So just dropping a few tenths of a second there, but an absolute save through turn 3. Just losing him just a little bit of time, but collected it up nicely. So Janssen leads away.
Who do we reckon's going to win this then, Ben?
Oh, it's honestly, it's the roll of the dice at this point. All 3 of them have been up and down on pace all race. They've all been there or thereabouts with each other, dropping back, catching each other up. It looks like Kleinen obviously is dropped a little bit further back from these 3, so these 3 have just been matching each other lap after lap. Janssen obviously had some decent pace to get past Kleinen and then also get past Zilcevic, but it did look like Zilcevic when he got overtaken, it was a mistake from the pressure by the look of it, or just getting a little bit too much curb or a little bit trying to carry too much speed. So we know Zilcevic has got pace because of the pace he was setting earlier in the race. He was pulling away. So I can't predict this one, I'll be honest, Sam. What about you?
Yeah, it's so close. Mate, I'm literally in the same boat. I'm tempted to go for Hilson, you know. I know he's in 3rd at the moment, but he has the pace. You can see every single time he's just gaining and gaining and gaining on them. But not able to make that move stick. Hopefully without any blue flagged cars getting away for at least the next few minutes, we should have some closer racing between the 3, sorry.
Yeah, so they've managed to get past, I think it was Bruce and Wells, I think that they've got past, was it? I don't think I'm going mad in saying that. Well no, they were a bit further up than that actually, so it was Guerrero that were making their way through. So the next car on track that they'd be hitting would be kind of that's Stevie Bain in 13th, and there's quite a bit of a gap forward for that. So it looks like, unless there's some issues ahead, they might get away with not lapping any more cars before the end of this race. Which I think, to be fair, Janssen will like. I don't think he wants any more traffic now, because he'd be the first one encountering it. He's
Talk
got
about traffic.
Zilcevic.
There's a yellow flag.
There's a yellow flag,
He's
and
off
we've
track,
lost.
though.
Oh no! You know, Mr.
Matt
Wilmot's had a to do with the wall, and I'm afraid it's going to be the lead onto the back straight. Too much grass on the outside, and it's spitting him across, unfortunately. So you can see him trying to prepare the car to rejoin. Very tough to rejoin on that tiny little bit of grass on the inside, but you can see him trying to get the angle to return safely, I think.
Bain was very lucky there as well, not to get a tap from Wilmot when he was off in that spin.
Oh dear. Matt's off, De Vroid's off. I think Matt was back on, and De Vroid's looks like he's had his own moment. And Matt's had his own moment, to be fair, by the look of it. I don't know if those two have met somewhere earlier and Matt was out of shot, but yeah. Looked like maybe they'd had an issue and continued on. But yes, so Matt's down to 20th now with that damage, 21st, sorry, so obviously struggling quite a bit with the damage. Real shame for it at the end of the race, but I know Matt, he'll be annoyed, but at the end of the day, he had a good run up to that, especially on the controller. That's not to be forgotten that he's been absolutely smashing that.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
Looks like Hilson then just slightly dropped off the back of this one. Their last laps were 48 throughout, so 48-1 for Janssen, 48 zeros for Zilcevic and Hilson, and it looks like Hilson just made a little mistake. We are on the penultimate lap now. So it looks like a two-horse race. Zilcevic only 2 tenths behind.
Wilmot, Zilcevic would be so annoyed if he can't get anything out of this race. He's been leading so long. And it looks like one error may have cost him at the end of the day under pressure. Which, we all know how angry he'll be if he can't get that win today.
Yeah, I do think he would be disappointed with it, but I think on the other hand, is it more, I've managed to survive, Zilcevic will be leading the championship right now with second place, so I think he will be. Will Janssen be? Actually, they might be tied for points. I take back what I just said, that probably is incorrect.
Nevertheless, they have to remember as well.
Well, they finished second. Zilcevic was second at round 1, and Janssen was third, I believe. I think. So, yeah, I think Janssen would be leading the championship, given the fact that he's got a win. So, but yeah, these guys, I know what you mean. Zilcevic may be disappointed with it, but on the other hand, he still had a very strong showing, and got more points in the bag, and he's been super close. Catching the cars in front. Is that Adam D with a certain Stevie Bain behind? So we might get, if they can stay on the lead lap, we'll get them coming round for a little fight on the lead lap. Otherwise this is going to get a little bit tasty here, because D and Bain are fighting for position. That's for 11th and 12th, with the front two then coming up behind them at a rate of knots here. Be interesting to see if they catch them up or not.
It's going to be very interesting because Steve Bain won't want to let this go.
Oh no, definitely. These two, Adam will be wishing that they were a couple of seconds slower and that they could finish now. But he'll know here he won't want to be letting anything go either, because he's going to have to defend like mad for this last lap. Janssen then,
right on the back of him now.
Right on the back of him, but I think they've just about got away with it. Zilcevic noticed the opportunity, couldn't quite make anything of it, didn't quite get close enough to the two in front, so Janssen comes over the line. He's your race winner in the Audi, DSRT Audi. Zilcevic with a solid second, leading most of the way before that late move by Janssen, and Hilson coming home third. Good recovery from him after dropping a few places in the middle of the race. Kleinen, not to be discounted as well, in the other DSRT car, fourth place. These four really in a bit of a league of their own today. Jongen will be coming over the line in 5th position, which is a great comeback given his qualifying was, what, 10th position? So great stuff from him. We're just going to have a look at Adam D and Bain for the last lap. But yeah, where are we on this standing? Browning in 6th position. Another solid drive from him. Johnny Ashley, would you believe it, 7th position. We haven't really seen much of him in the second half of the race, but fantastic drive from him. Ditas in 8th as well, good result for him too. Getting another top 10. Kolkoff and Sean, that was your top 10. These two are the only two fighting for position then towards the final sector. Stevie's going to push him all the way. These two get on well, so hopefully no shenanigans. I'm sure it will be fine. Look at those decent little scratches on that rear wing. Look, how did you get scratches there? Oh, he's left the door. Has he left the door? Oh, Bain gave it up. Stevie was way too nice there.
Is he going to go for moving to?
No, I think he's being fun. That was far. They've been having a sense. Stevie, we need to talk afterwards. That was great racing from these two there. So come over the line. Adam D, 11th place, just missing out on the top 10 for the prediction. But Stevie Bain, 12th. Adam D, then 11th from the back of the grid. Great effort. Wow, what a race, Sam.
What a race. Yeah. Had that little slide period in the middle of it, but we always said it's going to fire back up, and sure, how did it do with a four-way fight at one point for the lead?
Well, exactly. I mean, yeah, it really closed up, didn't it? Because at the start, it seemed to spread out, and it looked like for a while that we were just going to have action throughout the field. We were really concentrating on battles elsewhere in the field, and what, that last 20 minutes and last 15 minutes, it really started closing up, and then really started mixing it up. And fair play to the leaders. All nice, clean, fair racing. We saw some absolutely mega moves today. I think the Vroyd Hein side by side for 6 corners
that was incredible to watch.
It was absolutely incredible. So, driver of the day then?
I don't know what. I never thought I'd say this, but Adam D for me.
It's a bit hard. You never thought you'd say it, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Going from the back, from the pit lane, nevertheless, and then up to 11th, it was incredible to watch.
For me, I'd probably give it to Janssen. I think starting third on the grid to finish first may not sound a lot, but he came through a lot, especially a lot of pressure at the end there, dealing with the traffic, managed to deal with the traffic with a very fast Zilcevic on the back of him to come through and take the win. A very hotly contested win as well. But I think then my other shout out would be for Jongen as well, working his way. I know it's not the race win that he had last week, but from 10th on the grid up to 5th when he might not have had as much pace as he wanted, I think is absolutely fantastic. We are going to leave you in a minute, but before we go anywhere, I feel there's a first lap that we kind of want to have a look at, isn't there?
Always.
So I hope I've set this all up correctly.
We also have a special guest in here as well, who's just made his magical appearance.
Hello, special
guest. Good evening.
Hello, Mr. Adam D, our Sam's driver of the day.
Not yours though. Thanks.
No. We're just on board then with we're having a little look at Stevie Bain after his absolutely monstrous first lap, where he made up 8 places, was it? Something like that.
It was ridiculous.
Well, 3 of them were people that started from the pit lane.
No, this doesn't include those. Oh
wow!
But then look at him avoiding all the incidents.
He's really done well to it. That's proper pod racing.
That's impressive. Yeah.
So Adam, what thoughts? Pit lane start? What are you doing?
I tell you what,
call yourself a non-professional. Even a non-professional could make the grid. What are we doing here? You're better than this.
Yeah, it was a last minute. It was a last minute check of, have I put enough fuel in for the race? Because obviously there's no refueling, and then just missed it. But you know what? I will take coming from the pit lane through to 11th. And my tyres, when it was wet, were massively overpressured. Like 2 laps in, I was up to 33, and then when it got dry, I was up to 36, I think, in the end, on the pressures. So it was all a little bit hairy around that stage. But some of the battling through the field, I mean, some of the battles I had with Andy Hearn were just incredible. But at some point, you will want to take a look at the carnage that there was coming into the pits when they opened.
Yeah. Oh, we saw it. We caught that. Yeah, with the car sideways across the pit entry.
Yes, that received a rather large helping hand from behind it. Unfortunately.
Yes, I'm sure there was a bit of a helping hand.
I'll tell you what, though, that is some of the best fun I have had, not just in sim racing, but ever. That was phenomenal fun. The whole race and the battles and the changing conditions, and that BMW is an absolute beast. I'm glad I've switched to that. So yeah,
you've managed to find another car that's not too bad in the wet. I know it's no Lexus, but not too bad in the wet. It looks nice tonight.
Yeah, even with all that extra air in the tyres.
That's what happened to Richards on lap 2, then getting a little bit into the back of Janssen and getting turned, so it's a shame for him. But yeah, well, we're glad you enjoyed it, Adam. We had some fantastic, I mean, what was it, 2 tenths between the leaders at the end?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Over the line.
It was...
and we had a second covering the top 3 with 2 laps to go, so I mean, I'd say tonight's been a pretty good success.
I was trying to tell Steve Bain that he needed to let the leaders through. And then I wasn't.
Yeah, I bet you were. Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't quite work. He's far too wise.
I wonder why he fought back on that one. We were thinking it's going to be very close on the line as to if anyone's going to get caught by it, but he just about timed it right for Stevie and wrong for you that you hadn't got lapped, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. We still had fun on the last lap, but towards the end, I'd put brake pads 1 on, and towards the end they were just fading a little bit. So braking was getting a little tricky towards the end because I'm a bit heavy on the brake pedal. So but what a race! That's the most fun I've ever had around Snetterton.
You know what? That was quite possibly one of the best races I've watched on ACC. It was incredible. There was action all over the place. Hopefully we can get more of the same next week as well.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think our 2 rounds so far in this have been extremely good fun, I want to say. So hopefully we can keep it up into next week. Call it there, really. I want to thanks for joining us again there, Adam. I'm sure you wanted to go and chat to Matt about some of the amazing battling, but we appreciate you dropping by. So hopefully more of the same next week. That'd be great, wouldn't it? And Sam, thank you very much as ever, Mr. Co-Coms. Thanks for joining me again.
Perfect, mate. Cheers.
All right, well, thank you very much, everyone. I'll leave you with the soothing tones of the video, and we will be hopping on over to a raid somewhere. Next stream is tomorrow for the oNiD GT3s final round. A certain Mr. Adam D on commentary with Hydra, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, do not miss that.
Do not miss. Thanks everyone. Have a lovely evening. Bye.
Bye.